Now, my next guest has risen to be a hugely popular Conservative commentator. Brandon Tatum was a police officer. He's now an author, radio personality, and a hugely popular online pundit with more than 3.7 million subscribers on YouTube alone, plus 2.3 million Instagram followers and many more on other social media platforms. Officer Tatum, welcome to the Rita Panahi Show and Sky News Australia. Let's start with the left's reckless rhetoric around Donald Trump. It's almost like they want to inspire another assassination attempt. Listen to how Nancy Pelosi describes the president.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah. I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives.
Just astonishing rhetoric there, Brandon, from a woman who should know better.
Well, you know, her intent is very, very clear. You know, although we've seen assassinations happen on our side, although we've seen others, you know, try to kill other Republicans, she's intentionally doing this. They're disregarding the threats that are coming our way because of the rhetoric they're pushing. They're disregarding it. They don't care. For her to say the worst person on planet Earth, the worst person in the world, he's not abiding by the Constitution. It's almost like she's dog whistling for somebody to take him out. Because who would not want a person, you know, who would not want a person to be taken out if they are not abiding by the Constitution of the United States of America? They're threatening our democracy. They've taken over the courts. I mean, that's a dictator. That's a person that's going to destroy this beautiful country. And they know better, but they do it anyway.
It is just so disturbing, despite what has happened, what happened to Charlie Kirk, the assassination attempt, two of them against President Trump, and they still continue down this road. Now, let's go to the government shutdown. How much longer can this drag out? Let's hear from Democrat John Fetterman, who posted this earlier today.
This is a record that I never wanted to break. Here we are in the 35th day shutdown, and I just voted for the 14th time to reopen our government. I'm going to continue to choose country over party. And I'm going to say pay everyone, and I'm going to say make sure everyone's fed.
He said it best there. He's choosing country over party. Brandon, who do you hold responsible for this shutdown, and what do you think the political fallout will be?
Well, I have to be honest, both sides need to come to an agreement, but I hold most of the weight on the Democrats because the Republicans have voted to open up the government over 14 times. You hear Fetterman say that he's also voted with Republicans, and that's the party, in my personal opinion, that wants things to be changed. I blame both of them to a certain degree because we shouldn't have never got to this point in the first place. I think that both parties should be able to come to a solution before this had ever happened. And although I blame the left more, we as a country, as the people of America, we want them to do better. We shouldn't have to go through this at any point. In my personal opinion, I wish we could pass a resolution that if you guys can't agree, if you guys can't be adults and get your heads out of your rear end and get things done for the American people and not have people going without money and starving, then y'all should be fined. Y'all shouldn't get a paycheck. How do you continue to get a paycheck and you guys are not participating in the process in which we've elected you guys to participate? But it is very clear that the Democrats are pushing to have illegal aliens have access to financial aid. And we're saying, no, we're not going to do that. Pass a clean CR, get the government up and running, and then we can negotiate these terms on a later date. But the Democrats want to have this shutdown occur, and they want to blame Republicans and Donald Trump so they can have leverage in the midterms. This is not about the American people. This is not about people on SNAP. This is not about any of that when it comes to the Democrat side. They just want to win points in the election moving forward.
I think you nailed it there. This is all about the midterms and creating an atmosphere of crisis, giving the impression that the Trump administration is always in some sort of crisis mode. I have to ask you about this revelation. Erika Kirk was on Fox News last night and she addressed Jimmy Kimmel's comments about her late husband.
Jimmy Kimmel lied about your husband's murder and didn't really apologize. What would you say to Jimmy Kimmel?
Same thing I told Sinclair. They asked, I haven't really told anybody this, so they asked, do you want Jimmy to give you an apology? Do you want to be on his show? How can we make it right? Through our team, I responded. I said, tell them thank you, we received their note. This is not our issue, not our mess. If you want to say I'm sorry to someone who's grieving, go right ahead. But if that's not in your heart, don't do it. I don't want it. I don't need it.
So that's new information. Sinclair Broadcast Group, which operates dozens of ABC-affiliated stations across America, they were going to force Jimmy Kimmel to give an apology, but Erika Kirk wanted the apology to be genuine or don't bother at all. Brandon, what have you made of the criticism of Erika Kirk? It has been so vicious and so ugly. I know you were very close with Charlie. I just can't believe how low the left is willing to stoop to attack this woman.
Well, I'll say that you're 100% right, that the left can find no new level of low, but the right has also done it. I am perplexed. I am frustrated. I'm angered at what people are doing in light of Charlie's death. They're shaming Turning Point USA. Some of them are shaming Charlie. Some of them are acting as if Charlie was a different person than he was, and he can't even defend himself. The asinine approach of shaming Erika Kirk and criticizing how she's mourning the death of her husband is insane to me. And people should be ashamed of themselves. The conspiracies that have come out about Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, I want to make this very clear. We know who killed Charlie. We have overwhelming evidence. And wait till the trial comes out and all of these naysayers and people that have been judgmental and acting like it was the Jews and all this other stuff, they're going to have to eat crow. They have overwhelming evidence about this guy, and we will find out soon. But it is shameful because I knew Charlie very well. Charlie was a very private person. Having his text messages leaked, having his wife in the forefront with people criticizing her would be something that Charlie would be against 100%. Charlie was a good man. Charlie was a God-fearing man. Charlie was a leader amongst, a leader for the next generation. And he would literally be so disappointed in so many people that claim that they loved him if he could just see what they have done in his name, or they made money off of his name, or they've created platforms off of his name in this conspiracy into his death.
It has been so disappointing to see that, and it must be for you as a friend of his, it must be heartbreaking to see that. First, the celebration of his murder from some demented quarters of the left, and then what's happened since. Before you go, I want to ask you about Tish Hyman. She's a singer who had her gym membership terminated because she dared speak out about male bodies in the women's change rooms. And one of the things she said, which I think needs to be focused on, she said she did not consent to being naked in front of some random man in the locker room.
It's dangerous. Me naked in front of a man without my permission. I ain't the one who gets kicked out the gym, y'all. I'm terminated for not wanting men in the locker room.
Brandon, did you notice in that clip, no one seemed to be backing her. They all knew what happened. They know it's crazy, it's wrong, but they're too busy putting pronouns in their bio to actually take a stand on what is a genuine women's rights issue.
This had to be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. When I first saw the video going viral, I imagined that it was a trans person, maybe a person that looked like a woman that's actually a man that came in the locker room and, pulled his genitalia out just like Leah Thomas did. That's what I thought initially. Then I saw the video. I said, wait a minute. This person ain't even trying to look like a woman. This guy looks like a man. He's dressed like a gym bro. And he just waltzed in the women's locker room, and he's looking at another woman naked. And let me say this: it's the epitome of what America has become in watching how no one is responding and supporting her. Everybody's too distracted with everything else they're doing to stand up for women. And it's crazy to me because I bet you $1 million if the black woman was out there saying it was a white man calling me a N-word, everybody would be jumping to a rescue. But that when women are offended by men being in their locker rooms, watching them naked. Some of them pulling down their pants and they have male genitalia, and women didn't consent to it. I don't understand how the women's movement goes on and on and on, and we're standing up for women's rights and Me Too. But when it comes to men violating women in the locker room, somehow there's no voice. And I'll say this too. I think people should understand this. These people are perverted in many cases. Because as a man, if you ever went into a male locker room or if you ever been in the male bathroom, there are dividers. Men don't even pull out their genitalia in front of other men. I play football in the locker room. Look, you don't get naked in front of another man. But why is it that the man in the women's locker room have the liberty to say, I'm going to drop my pants and watch these women get undressed and get dressed? You telling me there's not something wrong with that? Why couldn't the gym protect women? Women should have to be able to consent to something like this, which I think most women wouldn't. That's why they don't do it. But you can't have men and you don't know where they stand. Is this guy transitioning? Is he not? Is he just a freaky guy who want to see naked women? Like, how do they determine that, or how do they filter that out to check women? They don't. And this is why this young lady was so upset. And I was trying to reach out to her because I love to interview her. This is insane, and women need a voice that are in these situations.
She is so brave for doing that, particularly somewhere like California, because we know the politics there. But it's good to see Gold's Gym is copping an almighty backlash online. People have seen their response to this and they are disgusted. Officer Tatum, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope we can speak again soon. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. God bless you.